What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Rap Podcast Show. I'm your host, Gilbert Gonzalez Jr., and with me, I have my two co-hosts. I'm sorry, a little nervous. My two co-hosts. First, my brother, Vincent. How are you doing, Vincent?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, doing great? Okay.
Doing great. Can't wait for football to kick off.
Oh, yes. Finally, football is back after a couple of months after February Super Bowl. And also, on to my right, my second co-host, my dad, Gilbert Sr. How you doing, Dad?
Very well, very well. Looking forward to another great year of football. We're back. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
But I hope this time we'll be able to do things a little better, and I'm excited. I'm excited about this year.
Good. Okay, so let's first just get into some news here. One of the biggest stories that came out this week was that Andrew Luck retired at the age of 29. Biggest shocker. I mean, as football fans in general, loved seeing Andrew Luck playing. I was just, I fell in love with the guy after this past season, man. And it's been, I'm not really a Colts fan or anything like that, but just a guy that's just, I've seen him play since he got drafted, and, retirement at a young age. I see, because injuries, and just the way how he spoke in his press conference, just saddening to see as a fan. But
I just feel like for the past 2 years or so, I feel like he's just been worn out. And you can look at his post conferences or his interviews, maybe after a few games, his mannerisms. He just looked completely out of it. I feel like that was the case, when the retirement was announced and he was giving that interview, post conference after the game.
Yeah.
He just looked completely worn out, and he even said mentally he's just not all there, for football.
Yeah, his, with all these injuries he's had, once you sign up for the NFL, you know what you're putting yourself into,
Yeah, you can't help being a Patriot fan and knowing that Andrew Luck is retiring. It's like we were, being a Pats fan for as long as we have been, Gil. We saw the Peyton Manning days. That was a good rival, but the rival never went away, regardless of what happened with the conferences or the divisions. When they got separated, we still thought of Indianapolis as a rival. And yeah, you're right. It is too bad to see him go at far too young at age, in my opinion. But Vincent's right. He did mention that he looked beat up, and it's just too bad that. I don't know whose fault it was, who makes the decision. I'm sure the GM does and the owner does, but Irsay, this is just a perfect example of them not taking care of their future. And when they drafted Andrew Luck, they needed more. Obviously, they needed to get more protection on that O-line.
Yeah, but it wasn't, Chris Ballard. It was, what he did, he focused on the O-line once he became the GM. The last GM before Chris Ballard, it was just, you weren't drafting as many O-lines once Andrew Luck got drafted.
Yeah.
So, this is when he's on a cycle,
Yeah, but if one thing wasn't working, if it didn't work one season, use that off season to get better guys. And I didn't think they did that.
Yeah, I didn't
really
think
think they did that. Just, this guy got sacked 41 times 2 years ago, and not 3 years ago, because last year.
Last year he didn't play.
Yeah, the year before he didn't play. So, and that's just way too much to happen to your young future of your team.
Yeah,
I feel like it's also another perfect example of a team just mismanaging everything. It happens to a lot of players. Most notably, the other quarterback that got drafted in the same draft class, Robert Griffin, who suffered an ACL injury. The poor conditions of FedEx Field in Washington, and overall he was just getting beat up, and it just caused him to just spiral out of the NFL scene.
Yeah, so these guys know, and it was just very shocking. I predicted him to be an MVP. MVP player this year.
I think we all were on that page. I think we all were there. Vincent, myself, and you. We all thought Luck was gonna have a breakthrough year because of the last year he had.
Yeah, the
He had
last
the right
couple- yep,
protection.
mhm.
Just like
Yeah,
last
got
year
their
for
shit
sure.
together, yeah.
They got everything together that they needed to, and that O line looked great. He was only sacked 18 times,
Mhm.
and that was I think that was one of like the league's lowest. Not I'm not saying it was the lowest, but it is one of the league's
One of the
lowest.
league's
Yeah,
lowest. Uh-huh.
at least top 5, top 10. So I think they got it right, and now for him to just surprise everybody and leave the game,
Yeah,
it's pretty sad.
I mean, it all started like back in April, like his with what was it like? He was been battling like not in April, but I'm pretty sure he's been battling since OTAs opened and all the training camps that were
Yeah, they were talking
open.
about his leg,
Yeah,
his calf.
Calf, and then
But-
it became a bone issue, and then
I mean, a lot of people didn't even know what it was, and I think it was up to that point when he retired. It's just that like, oh, it was just something for the to cover up the retirement, in my opinion. Well, I mean, he did have an injury from training camp, but from what I'm trying to say is that, what do you call it? I think he was considering this almost the entire off season.
you think
know,
so?
I
You
think so.
You think so?
I
You were
think
just thinking about it.
I think retirement was an option after it, because I think even last season I think he was kind of like all out, because you don't come off a year like that, where your offensive line is finally up to
Mhm.
par,
And also like
And
comeback player of the year.
comeback
Comeback
player of the year. Your team comes up for what were they, like 1-5?
They they started
They
at
were
1-5.
I mean, you don't retire after a year like that, So I think maybe even before this off season, he was even considering it from leaving the game entirely.
I mean,
No, that's a good point. That's a good point because that makes so much sense. I mean, he even got a playoff win, right? They beat Houston, didn't they?
oh yeah,
Yeah, they beat
beat
Houston. So how do you? I think he was probably considering it for a while, and it just no. And I don't like doing. I mean, I always think this about players who get injured, but maybe he was a little scared. Maybe he was a little scared with that injury that he had in his leg. Maybe he only your body, and he knew something was wrong with his body. The trainers and doctors can tell you everything they want to know, but only you know. And the kind of quarterback that he is, maybe the pocket passer that he is, and he does run a little bit on the pocket. Maybe he thought that it was gonna be worse on him as he let it progress. So instead of doing that, he just said, "Hey, I'm hanging it up."
Yeah, I mean, like guys like Gronk and Calvin Johnson and Patrick Willis, Barry Sanders, all these guys retiring at young ages. Do you guys think that it probably might become a trend, like a trend to that? I mean, I'm not saying I don't have a problem with that. Like, I do not have a problem with, guys and players that we've grown to see, retired at such a young age.
I'm sorry, Vincent. I think I would like to say that, but then you got, I think it all depends on the position that you play. I mean, you got Brady and Breeze at 40, playing. And I think it just depends on the position that you play, the tougher position. Running backs. Hard. It's hard. It is hard.
Running backs, I mean, you don't see a lot of people in their late 20s be successful unless your name is Adrian Peterson. All the running backs that are coming out, or not coming out, but are the best running backs in the game. They're all 22, 23, 24.
Yeah.
They're still in their early 20s, mid 20s, You don't see a lot of people once you reach I'd say
after probably after
28,
your prime,
29,
after your prime.
after you peak, you're just done. It happens to a lot of people. It happened to players like Chris Johnson. It happened to Jamal Charles. It happened to DeMarco Murray. It happened to Darren McFadden. It happens to a lot of players. I think early retirement just has to do with the situation they're in, the team that they're in, if they want to keep playing for this team. Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders were on, really bad teams. They weren't playoff caliber teams, and I feel like that's a lot of reason why they left the game, because they're Hall of Famers, not a doubt. If you look at their stats
Individuals
and what they accomplished, they're Hall of Famers. Same thing probably goes with what's his name? Not Gronk. Gronk is an example of a player just going out because of injury. You know, you guys are Pats fans. You guys, you know, every single
No,
game
yeah.
you guys are worried that like Gronk might not even play,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys, you know, he's a big deal. You know, I just think.
The other one that I knew was Patrick Willis. He was from the
Yeah.
Niners too.
Yeah, Patrick Willis,
Patrick
another
Willis.
young player that retired, but he retired of injury. You know,
Cam Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Another player.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of players retire because of like the situations that they're
That
in.
they're
you
in.
know,
Mm-hmm.
their body can't take it anymore. Maybe they're just tired of playing for that team, and there's no way out. You know, you just feel trapped when you're with that team. I think that's basically what happens to a lot of players. But in this case of Andrew Luck, it's just injuries and not, you know, wanting to play for that team. It's a bit of both, you know, not wanting to play for that team and not wanting to you know, get hurt more is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that he you know, like you said, like if he didn't want to play for that team, I think it's just because he's in this cycle. You know, when you get injured, you got to rehab it, then you come back, and then when you play again, you might get, you know, you're probably might thinking that you might get another injury, and then you go back to rehabbing it again and again and again.
Yeah.
So I think the whole point was that he just didn't want to do that because that kept him like not being able to feel the joy of football, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you're in the NFL, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
So I mean, just so that it was just like sad to see how he reacted about his retirement. I know he for sure he didn't want to, but you know, but his body just it was just taking a lot of damage. But I mean, who knows? Maybe he might come out of retirement in a year or two. Maybe
Yeah,
he
he definitely didn't want to. I mean, you can tell by the emotion that he showed when he was expressing his retirement. When he was saying that he was going to retire, he cried. You know, of course he didn't want to leave the game. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, but we'll see what happens. So without Andrew Luck being as the starting quarterback, we now look into the Colts will now be looking to name Jacoby Brissett as the starter, and I believe that the Colts will be okay because I mean we'll go about it like 2 years ago. 2 years ago was the year that they traded him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so New England traded Jacoby Brissett in week 2 or maybe week 1. Who knows? Labor Day weekend. Okay. Jacoby is now with the Colts. He's been with the Colts for 2 years. Now he understands the system. The O-line's a lot better.
Yeah.
Marlon Mack, you know, great, good, solid, great season last year. And I mean, the defense was great. It got better. So I mean, Jacoby, you know, instead of being thrown out in right there with you know, thrown out where the Wolves are at, and now you're just you know your playbook. You know, you got better players now with Paris Campbell as a rookie, Devin Funchess, Eric Ebron. You got Jack Doyle coming back. So, I mean, do you guys expect? Not expecting to be like bad, but do you guys not like Andrew Luck because you know Jacoby ain't Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
But like, do you see them as like a 500 team? Do you guys see them like decreasing their wins this year, or what do you guys think?
They finished 10-6 last season because of the bad start that they had to start the season, 1-5. I think that this team, I'm not sure if this team can make a push for the playoffs, only because now the division's a bit tougher now. The Jaguars finally have a quarterback. You know, the Titans, you know, the players that they have, the young players that they have, you know, like Deshaun Watson, for a good example, he's only going to get better, you know. But I feel like this team might finish probably in the realm of like 7-9, 8-8. You know, I feel like Jacoby's a capable quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but he still needs work. You know, he still needs a little work. You know, last season, you know, the season that he started, not last season, but the season where he started, you know, the Colts were in the best situation. We're not in the best situation, you know, but I feel like the team got a little better behind him, so he can finally like so the Colts can finally present that for Jacoby.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is his big chance to show what he's got. And even when he was in New England, a lot of people were still,
Writing them off like a 2-2. Well, it was it was after
no, after
Garoppolo's injury, yeah.
But when Jacoby came in, no one expect him to do that great. No one expect him to do anything, and he goes out and he shuts out the Texan team. He put points on the board. I remember watching that game. I was actually very impressed from what he showed.
It was I think it was a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
I think it was a Thursday night game too.
Yeah. He put on a show. He's a very capable quarterback, and he's still young. I think he's like 24, 25.
Mm-hmm.
He's still young. So it's going to be very fun to watch the Colts. I think this is more of like a learning curve season to see what direction they should go with Jacoby. So it's going to be fun to watch. What are your thoughts, Pop?
I only have three things to say. One, in that game that you were talking about with Jacoby Brissett and the Texans, one, they didn't have Bill Belichick. Two, they didn't have McDaniel as their offensive coordinator. So Jacoby Brissett, I don't give him any credit for that game because it was a coaching staff. He's talentless. Indianapolis is going to go 6-10. That's a 10-loss team. It's a 10-loss team, maybe more. And you hit it right on the button. Jacoby Brissett is no Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck retires 2 weeks before the season, and you guys expect Jacoby Brissett to know his playbook and all that stuff. Great, yeah, but once you're on the field, it's a completely different monster.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're going to struggle. I feel that Andrew Luck's retirement was too much of a distraction for this team, and Irsay deserves it for what he was saying about Andrew Luck. They deserve to lose every single game this season.
Mm-hmm.
He said that his injuries were on his head. Why doesn't he put on a uniform, go out there and play 16 games, broken and hurt?
Right.
See how he likes it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not wish the Colts the best. I really don't because of Irsay's comments. I'm an NFL fan, and I love the Colts. Don't get me wrong. I was very excited to see the way they were playing last year.
Mm-hmm.
But for what he said
Irsay,
about Andrew Luck, he deserves to lose every single game, and I hope that happens. I really do.
Well, with the Colts having Jacoby as their starting quarterback, now we're going to be looking into, we're going to shift gears to the Texans now. This past weekend, I think it was probably on the same date as well. Lamar Miller had an ACL injury, and now the Texans are trying to look for anything in a running back position. They're trying to trade, looking for some teams for potentially trading. I've been hearing Jadeveon Clowney. He's on a holdout. I'm pretty sure he's on a holdout. He doesn't want to be signed as a franchise tag.
No, he's not on a holdout, but he does not want to be franchised. So they're really trying their best to trade him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're really trying to trade him.
Okay.
Lamar Miller being hurt and stuff. I mean, they did sign Duke Johnson, but I was telling you that Duke Johnson, he's not really a big running guy.
Right.
Yeah. I think from what happened with Andrew Luck, retiring so young, in my opinion, Deshaun Watson's next. Honestly, I was looking at some stats recently. And Deshaun Watson is in the top 5.
Oh, yeah, getting hit. Sacks. Yeah, I know.
And out of those top 5, 3 are Houston Texans.
Mm-hmm.
So it was David Carr, obviously, with the record. And then he did it. David Carr has it again. And then it's Deshaun Watson. So it was a 6, 5, 12. So in a 12-year span, 3 times the Houston Texans have led the league in quarterbacks. Sacks
allowed.
That obviously that shows that they got to do something about that O-line. I think they should sign, rather than give Jadeveon Clowney to a team for a running back. I think it's more of
the protection
for Deshaun Watson, because Deshaun Watson's good, dude. He's got Hopkins. He's got weapons. So I feel that they really should concentrate on getting somebody to protect them.
Yeah. I think this past draft, they've been think they drafted some O-line guys, but they're rookies. We know they're rookies, but who knows? I mean, rookie guys come off as the starting O-line, starting offensive line for the season. But
most of the time I've seen that. Most of the time when a team drafts an offensive lineman, like in the first round or
second,
early rounds, they start. They usually start.
Yeah. But with because I've been hearing about they're trying to trade Jadeveon Clowney. Obviously I've been hearing some about the Eagles trading for like maybe a running back, and the Seattle Seahawks as well with maybe Rashad Penny and a draft pick or something value. So then that way they could get like maybe Seattle needs a defense, like more working on their defense now that they're the most heaviest run team in the NFL, And then for the Eagles, well, you just add another weapon in that defense.
The Eagles have like 8 running backs back there.
Yeah, they have 8. So they could they could give one up. They have like so many running backs. And then another one I've been hearing was probably, and a long shot. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be thinking what I'm thinking, but probably like, names like maybe LaShawn McCoy or Adrian Peterson, some guys like that, because I know Darius Geis is going to be coming back. Bills drafted Devin Singletary. So, I mean, with teams that have a crowded backfield, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't mind giving up a veteran for Jadeveon to upgrade their defense. But, that's just me. And, so then that leaves us with the AFC South. That whole division is just wide open.
Yeah.
Wide open after Luck's impact retiring. So, I mean, you got the Houston, they need a running back that can carry the load.
Mm-hmm.
We all agree that probably Duke Johnson will not be that kind of running back.
Yeah.
And then for the Titans, Mariota, this is his year to prove, because me and you, Vinny, we do not believe in him. Unlike my dad here.
I do. Then this is funny because I was actually going to talk to you about this. Titans and Houston, they're not really far.
Head-to-head record.
Yeah, head-to-head. They're 18-16. And Titans lead it. The Tennessee Titans are 2 games better than the Houston Texans head-to-head. In the last 5 games that Deshaun Watson has played against the Titans are 3-2. Okay, they're 3-2. Yeah, they did get massacred by him, 54-13. but a win's a win. A win's a win. And I feel like this season the Titans have, I'm hoping, because if not, you are gonna give me so much crap if they don't. And you know what? I'll stand by it. I'll take it. But I do think because of the contract year and all these players, Mariota has more weapons. He has chance to prove himself. I think they are gonna take that. I'm gonna call it. I think the Titans are gonna win the AFC South.
The division.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like this division is like very open compared to the other ones, because all the teams' weaknesses can be like on display. Houston, their O-line is god awful. The Titans can be, underachieving players. Names like the players that you expect to get the most out of. Like Mariota's been underachieving for the past 3 years. Corey Davis, another player that's been, underachieving. I totally forgot about Delaney Walker. Delaney Walker has been a key part of that Titans offense, but we didn't get to see him last year because he had a knee injury. But the same thing applies to the Jaguars. The Jaguars also have some weaknesses. We don't know if Nick Foles is going to be all that. We don't know if he's going to catch. He's in a totally different environment how he was with Philadelphia. Because he had talent around him. Now the Jaguars, they're best.
Basically, D.D. Westbrook, Leonard Fournette. But I'm not sure. I mean, Leonard Fournette did say to reporters that he lost some weight, cleared his head, he cut people off that was making him feel down or like making putting him down or whatever.
Someone's got his phone
So-
contacts.
Oh,
Yeah, clearly.
and then he's ready to go. He's ready to rock and roll. So
It's just that this division is going to be very tight with the Colts, kind of not there. The presence of the Colts not being in the NFC South, because I feel like no matter how competitive that division is, there's always going to be at least one team, and that was the Colts. Just like a shadowing every team. Now we won't get that because Andrew Luck's gone, so that team is probably going to be battling for like a 500 record. But from what I've seen, I feel like the best team or what strengths definitely cancel out their weaknesses is it's either going to be the Texans or the Titans, at least in my opinion. Because if the Texans don't get rid of Clowney, they still have like a top 5 defense. They still have a top 5 defense. The Titans, they have a lot of great players on that defense.
and it's just that their offense can't put up any points.
It's a real shame that offense can't put up anything. But I feel like with Delaney Walker coming back, I feel like that's going to make a huge difference.
Mhm.
It's going to give Mariota one more target to throw to. And Delaney Walker, the season before he got injured, he had a monster of a year. People tend to forget that. He had such a great season the season before he
Got injured.
Mhm. That team, I feel like he was part of one of the biggest reasons why that team made it to the playoffs and got that playoff win against the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I remember that.
I feel like but it's overall it's got to be the team just stepping up. Mariota's been battling an injury for the past 2 years as well. But I feel like this year it's going to be a close battle between those two teams, and the Jags, I feel like they're definitely a dark horse.
Well, to me, I don't believe it. I mean, I've seen Nick Foles in other systems, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's only with Philly. For some reason, it's just with Philly. Maybe it's the weapons. Maybe it's their scheme.
The market, maybe.
Probably that too. But I mean, just with Philly, he had those great years. I know the last run he went carried them. After when Wentz went down, took him to the Super Bowl, ended up winning a Super Bowl.
Mhm.
And then, start of the last year's season with, I think it was like 2 or 4 games
The last
when he
games of the
started.
season.
No, like the beginning of it. He went 2-2 or 2-1 or whatever the record was. And then, Wentz had a setback on his back.
Yeah.
And now, took over the last couple games, took it to the playoffs,
Mhm.
ended up winning a playoff game, and then stopped right there in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, I don't know. It's just that I don't know. Like, I just don't believe in Foles in other systems, because I've seen him in other, with the Rams when Jeff Fisher was a coach. Maybe it's the coaches. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I mean, I just don't believe in Nick Foles with that Jacksonville team, because I'm pretty sure maybe the defense is going to be carrying again, like the way how they did it with Bortles.
Mhm.
And we'll see. We'll see.
What
What are your thoughts, Pop? You want to add anything to that?
No, I mean, I think you guys nailed it. I mean, when Vinny earlier said that the Jaguars finally got a legit quarterback in Nick Foles, I was like, what? I mean, of course, okay, fine, he's a Super Bowl winner, but I don't think he's proven anything to me yet in this system. With Philly, like you say, with Philadelphia, yeah, he's great.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see how he does with the Jags.
With the Jags. Okay. All right, so moving on. Now we could talk about the holdouts, because I thought Jadeveon was on a holdout, but corrected me. Melvin Gordon is willing to sit out the regular season unless the Chargers negotiate a new contract with him. There have been some talks about negotiations with him, but it's still not still a no-go with the deal. I'm pretty sure they gave him $10 million a year. I'm not sure how many years, but 10.
13.
Was
It was
that
13.
that he wants?
No,
that Gordon
it was
wants?
13 that they offered him, which would have made him the third best.
So 13 is still not. You telling me that 13 million is still not?
Exactly, it's ridiculous,
Oh my
bro.
God.
13 mil a year. He would have been the third top.
Top three, yeah,
in the
like
top
probably.
three, running backs
Mhm.
in the NFL, and he still didn't take that. I thought that was ridiculous. I was hoping. I talked to you the other day, and I was telling you, I heard that maybe he might
Might
he
come
might
back
actually come
because
back.
these writers.
It was clarified to me today that he's not. He's not. I saw Adam Schefter, one of the guys that we both trust,
Yeah.
and he, in plain English, said, "Hell no, he's not coming. He's not gonna be ready for week one."
Oh my God! It's just that I think the reason why is because they saw what happened with Todd Gurley, with the arthritis in his knee, and running backs, like you said earlier, running backs, they just don't have enough. How would I say it? Like a word. There's a word to it. Like
longevity.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
They don't have that much, because they're so used to carrying the ball and running through the
They have
the defenders.
They have a heavy workload other than the offensive line, the defensive linemen. I feel like they have more of a workload.
Yeah, because you
use them like 40 times a game, and that's not even counting the times they even
carry the ball,
touch the ball,
mm-hmm.
So there's that. But Melvin Gordon asking for so he was asking.
He's at 13.
No,
he was
to be number one.
Yeah, he wants to get paid higher than Gurley. That's what he wants. But the Chargers ain't gonna give him that.
No,
the Chargers are not gonna give him that because they're just expecting like, okay, if we give you this money, what happens when, during that season he gets a knee injury or he gets, some kind of injury. Let's just say like that. So they're basically paying.
The thing that I read was Gurley wants guarantees. That's the problem. I mean, not Gurley. I'm sorry, Melvin Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon was asking for the 13 mil came with no guarantee. It wasn't a guarantee, that usually these contracts come with. Actually, Gordon wanted what was offered to him. What I read, 23 million guaranteed, and 13 mil a year, and he still didn't take that, even though they gave him
the 23 million guarantee.
I think it's more his agent. I don't think it's Gordon. I think it has to do a lot with his agent. And number two, I think that Le'Veon Bell sitting out the entire year, setting the example for these NFL players, especially the running backs, it makes it easy for Gordon to do the same.
Yeah, but why? I mean, you're in a squad.
I don't think Le'Veon. Well, the thing with Le'Veon, he didn't even get paid the amount of money he wanted. Even sitting out the year, I think he got paid like
53. I think it was like 53 mil.
10 million short of what he wanted. And he signed with the Jets on the last day of free agency, I think, the last few days of free agency.
Oh, yeah, because I remember because I was just, me and you and Dad, we were talking about, Le'Veon. It's been like a couple days and Le'Veon still hasn't signed or anything. And then talks about probably being with New England, talks about probably being with the Jets, probably with the Colts. Yeah, that I thought that they were going to sign him, the Texans as well. But... No, he just decided to go to a team that, in my opinion, has a horrible O-line, and it's just, I mean, and you said, Vinny, that he didn't even get the money that he wanted. Oh my God! I mean, I don't know. I mean,
didn't he lose a couple million?
Well, yeah, he
lost $8 million, right?
Yeah,
he lost
paychecks.
$8 million,
For not
losing. I mean, for not playing.
For not playing. So, and then that's the same thing. That's what's going to happen with Melvin. Same thing, losing paychecks for every time he's not going to be on the field. They were 4-0 without him. I mean, we said that the Chargers' offense goes through the running backs. They had Danny and Tomlinson. You had Melvin Gordon, and now you got these two young studs, Justin Jackson and Austin Eckler. I mean, they showed without Gordon they were 4-0 without him. Put up more points. Actually, without Melvin Gordon. But, I mean, just like a slim margin. But, points, 1 point makes a difference, you know. And so I mean, maybe I don't know what's the holdup. Are they going to be able to trade him? Are they going to be sitting it out for that the entire year? Or I mean, we're all waiting for what the Chargers' move.
I don't think the Chargers would even need anything if they were gonna trade for Gordon. You know, maybe
The draft pick.
maybe a draft pick. But you're trading away a player who's how old is he? Like 24. Yeah, he's still young. You know, Gordon's still young. You know, it's not like Le'Veon. Le'Veon's already in his mid-20s, heading into his late 20s. I think Le'Veon's about
27, 28,
28,
around there.
27,
Mm-hmm.
around that ballpark. But I don't think they're probably not gonna get. Well, not that they're not gonna get much for him. If they were trying to trade him away, or you know, maybe to Houston, maybe their situation with Clowning, you know, needing a back, you know, maybe, you know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, fuck. The Chargers. They have to do something. Have to do something.
There's a lot you can do when a player is on a holdout. You can just hang on to them, or you can just, well, not, you know, just give him what he wants, I guess. But the thing is, you know, Gordon hasn't really, in the Chargers' eyes, especially, he hasn't really proved that, you know, he deserves that money.
Yeah,
because they're not giving it to him.
Yeah, because he's dealing with these injuries, you know. He's
Yeah.
been injury prone. I think there was 1 year where he did actually maybe I could be wrong, but maybe 1 year throughout his entire year. Well, how long has he been in the league? 5 years, 4 years?
4 years.
4 years? 4 years around there. Maybe he had like only one season out through the entire from his rookie year till now. Maybe just one year where he actually played all 16 games.
Okay, I'm just looking at
But-
a article here by Adam Schefter, and he knows exactly what Melvin Gordon wants. He put here that Le'Veon Bell's deal is a $27 million commitment for 2 seasons, so he's making $13.5 million.
Okay.
Gordon wants the same, except in guaranteed money. So see, Le'Veon Bell's isn't on a guaranteed deal. It's on what do they call it? A 2-year commitment. It's a commitment deal.
Oh, okay. But
See.
then he wants that exact same.
Gordon wants the same, except a
Guaranteed.
guaranteed, or at least David Johnson's $24.7 million full guarantee.
Oh my god.
These guys play football for a living. Football to us is what? A game. It's fun. And these guys get to do it for millions of dollars, and to me, that's, come on. I understand it's a commitment, your body and everything, but man, to play football and call it my job, I would love to. You know, if I was in shape like that, I would love to play football for my job. It's fun.
Yeah, but then you also like I always said that too. But then you also got to think about I gotta put I gotta make sure my family's taken care of. Maybe it's something like that. It could be like that, you know. But yeah, I'm just like, dude, you're I have that same attitude as you. Like, dude, I would love to play football and get paid, but I'm not. But you know, I mean, I'm not really there, and we're all not there. But only these guys know. These guys know what situation they're into.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it could be like that. I gotta get this amount of money to make sure my family is okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I mean, who knows? All right. Another player that's on a holdout is Ezekiel Elliott, and right now he's still in Cabo. I'm guessing Cabo still. Jerry Jones is prepared for Zeke to miss regular season games. He's operating the Zeke situation as he's going to miss regular season games. Ezekiel Elliott wants to be the highest paid player. He said that numerous times. The Cowboys, the last time I heard that they offered him to be around between Gurley and Bell, Gurley and Johnson, to be the third highest paid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that right? Is that what he was asking for? I mean, what they offered him? The Cowboys offered Zeke. That they offered him for to be the highest. I mean, to be the third highest. I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much, but it's somewhere around like between Gurley's money and David Johnson's
See, that's what
probably.
it is. These two contracts of David Johnson and Todd Gurley, they're up there, And yeah, I would assume, but you know what, Jerry Jones, he's weird. I mean, he is so weird. All these comments that he has everybody kind of like. It's weird because if you take a look at the case with Melvin Gordon, the Chargers aren't saying anything, and the Chargers are like more like, look, it is what
But
it
it
is.
is.
Yeah,
We're moving
okay.
on.
Yeah, we're moving on. Jerry Jones is like, well, he's made little comments like Zeke who, and
Oh,
and
okay,
then
yeah.
he said we're not going into the playoffs without Zeke, and then he says that he's expecting him to miss games. We'll be needing Zeke at the playoffs, or it's just crazy. It's just weird how he's just leaving everybody like on their toes, or is that what he wants, or
I think that I don't think he's worried about if he signs Zeke or if he doesn't sign Zeke. I think Jerry Jones, throughout this whole entire situation thing, this whole entire Zeke situation, I think he's been really laid back about it. You know, I mean, I feel like that. I feel like that especially with the other players that he's trying to sign. With Dak and Amari and the linebacker who recently
Jalen Smith.
yeah,
Man,
Jalen,
he got bank.
yeah, Smith. I
He
feel
got
like
bank.
he has a very laid back approach to how he signs.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we're seeing it more now because Ezekiel Elliott, big deal. He's a big deal. He led the league in rushing last season. You know, and holdouts. We saw what happened last season. Everybody was all over the Steelers, with Le'Veon, and now we're seeing it with two other teams,
Mm-hmm.
with the Cowboys and the Chargers. And of course, we're gonna have more media coverage with the Cowboys because of the Cowboys.
Right.
They're a
Yeah.
huge market. They're probably, if I was to describe them to the size and popularity of any like sport team, they'd be like almost like the Lakers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a huge market. And of course you're gonna get like that much attention, and you're gonna have things out of context, and sometimes you're gonna say something and people are gonna take it another way. But I feel like this whole situation, I think he's been very laid back.
But do they even have them enough money to pay Zeke, Amari, and Dak? I mean,
they do. They do. I mean, they do. I mean, Jerry Jones is a freaking billionaire. I mean, he's got money. The new stadium, all the endorsements they have. Of course they do. They're like one of the hottest selling, jerseys, hats everywhere. Not only in Dallas. I'm talking about everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere in
Yeah.
America. They're America's team, right? Quote
Right.
unquote. So. I was reading right here too that same thing as Le'Veon Bell, and we were talking about Melvin Gordon. Same thing with Zeke. He's already $2.7 million in the hole right now, and that's just training camp. He's missed training camp. He missed days of workout schedules. That's $1.5 million for missing 37 days of training camp. 1.2 million in and that they could seek repayment of 1.2 million for his signing bonus, so that's going to come off. And he's missing 40,000 a day he faced while in training camp for the missing training camps, and he'll be out more than $226,000 in game checks for each week he misses.
My goodness.
So that's
oh my goodness.
he's already in the hole already, but hey, that's what this holdout is gonna bring him. Then, and then just to get back to what we were saying, with Gurley, and we were talking about Gurley and David Johnson's contract.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're making both roughly about 14. David Johnson's making roughly about 14, and then Gurley's making like 13.
Okay.
You know who the next one on the bottom of that is? Who's in top 3? Who's third place?
Who's in the third one?
Yeah.
And you're asking me who?
Yeah. Do you know who? And you would think, 14, 13. So you would think somebody else would be like 10 or something like that.
No, because I think the next one's like at 6, 7.
It's at 8.
Okay, 8 around there. Damn, who's been in the league that long? I'm gonna go say Adrian Peterson.
No. I meant the contracts for money, Because Adrian Peterson just signed with Washington.
Oh, okay, never
So,
mind. That's
yeah.
true. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Devontae Freeman.
What?
From Atlanta Falcons.
Devontae Freeman?
Yeah, it's Devontae Freeman. I just wanted to throw that out.
I was just trying to figure out, but like, okay, it can't be, like, you know, it can't be like guys like McCaffrey, Kamara, because they're still on their rookies. They're still on their rookie deals. Damn. Can't be Jordan Howard either. I was thinking about him too, but it couldn't be him. I mean, I don't know. These teams, they have to do something. I mean, they're like playing chicken with each other. About, you know, I mean, if I were them, I mean, I would be crazy enough just to let them go. Like, okay. Like, we've seen the Cowboys go, without DeMarco Murray. You know, we've seen them go out with, you know, I think they get him off of Philly got off from free agency, or did they trade him?
Murray went to the Titans.
But then he went to Philly? I'm pretty sure he went to Philly.
No, he never went to Philly.
He never went to Philly?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think he did. Check if he did. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm pretty sure he did. And then I think he went to the Titans. I think he did. Dad's checking it up right now. I could be wrong. What do you think? He went to Philly? Okay, when? Okay, so we've seen. Okay, and then who was the start? It had to be like Alfred Morris or someone like that, with the Cowboys running backs, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if look, they have a good O line. You have Tony Pollard, or Pollard. Pollard. Okay, Tony Pollard. In the backfield, I mean, he's been great during preseason, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to be doing great in the regular season as well. You know, that O-line's elite, and then, you know, you have, you know, to get the pressure off of the running backs, you got Amari, and then you got the second-year Michael Gallup. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe they might do good without Zeke, but, you know, they should just move on.
The year after Murray left, they didn't do good at all. They were awful. The year that DeMarco Murray left.
No, who's their running back?
Their running back was Darren McFadden, and they.
Oh yeah, I
finished
remember that.
4-12 that season.
Yeah, but that was pretty much he was in his old age, like 30 something. I don't know how long Darren McFadden has been in the league.
See, let me read you guys something and tell me where your heads are at. Okay, these are all quotes that I'm going to read you from Jerry Jones when he's asked about Ezekiel Elliott. Okay, and these are all different days. Okay, different days. My entire expectation for what we're putting together as a team right now would anticipate with him holding out that he's going to miss games. I just accept that. Okay, then Zeke is an outstanding player and arguably right there with our best players, but no one gives up in any way, especially with the talented group that we have. All right? Okay, here's another one. One player can make a difference, but not the difference. Okay? Then he goes to say, when they asked him, how many games will Ezekiel miss or whatever, he can't and won't miss them all. We need Zeke. We're a better team with Zeke.
Oh my God.
So
what the hell?
Where's your head gonna be?
Just sign him. Dang, just sign him.
I think he's trying to pull Zeke a lot. I feel like he's just really like trying to get Zeke, but every time Zeke is brought up, he's just like, yeah, Zeke is an exceptional player. We need him on the team. But then, but he says that the team, he feels like he's very confident in his team.
Right.
He's very confident in his team. As like an owner, you would be.
Mm-hmm.
You would be confident in your team. And
Dak's gonna earn his contract this season.
Oh yeah, I know. I look, because running backs, they don't have that longevity. They don't have it as much as the wide receivers. They don't have it as much as the quarterbacks because they're the ones that carrying the load. So if I were them, then I would go and sign Dak Prescott, because that right there is that's the franchise quarterback. Okay, and I would sign Amari Cooper too as well, because he was the difference maker when he got traded to Dallas.
yeah.
His Dak's numbers went up. His yards per pass went up. Zeke's numbers went up as well because now Zeke developed himself as a pass catcher.
Yeah.
And I gave you those stats, but it was fantasy stats. But still, I mean, you see their numbers, yeah, But yeah. So Amari was the difference maker in that offense, So now Amari's coming up. Now he had a whole year with Dak and the Cowboys and everybody, and then we got second year Michael Gallup. Trying to see if what kind of a player that he is in his second year. But, I mean, that's what I would do. I would sign Dak, and I would sign Amari Cooper. I mean, you could always get a running back, but, maybe not as, much as Zeke, but, still gets the job done.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we'll see. All right, so football's finally back this coming up Thursday. And it's going to be the Bears against the Packers. Aaron Rodgers has a new head coach in Matt LaFleur. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur. I think this year, Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, they're going to be okay. There ain't going to be no more excuses for Aaron Rodgers. There ain't going to be no more excuses. They got a new head coach. The Packers drafted defensive players the past 3 seasons in their drafts. They added new additions on the defensive side. There ain't no more excuses for more excuses for him. So this has to be the year that they make it to the playoffs. That Aaron Rodgers, that I hope he proves me wrong because I think he's overrated. Okay, I think he's overrated. And I mean, you can't go wrong. You have an O-line that's a lot better than last year. You just have to keep yourself, not getting yourself hit, So, I mean, who knows? But I do have them winning their division. I do have them winning their division. Mitch Trubisky is in his third year?
Yeah.
Third year, second year with Matt Nagy.
Yeah,
Second year. Okay, and then they added David Montgomery.
Yep.
Who I like a lot.
They still have relatively the same team.
Okay, but now
the only difference, the big difference in my opinion, is the defensive coordinator leaving, which is Big Vaggio.
He was the one that he's the one that got that put together. Pretty much number one. I still think they'll still be a top 10 defense. Yeah. It'll just be not as much.
They have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent on that defense. That defense is, it's just
Khalil Mack made everybody better.
Mack, Trevathan,
Fuller, but not anymore. No, I don't think he's. Oh no, Fuller's still there. I was thinking about Adrian Amos. Yeah. I think he's with the Packers. Yeah. He's with the Packers. I liked him too as the safety.
Team. The last 2 seasons. I'm sorry. The last season's games, they were actually very good games. You got the week 1. The drama that
I saw
Khalil Mack's first half was amazing. Had Aaron Rodgers coming out off a stretcher,
coming back, back guys.
Yeah,
I'm back.
And then he just got that team back on his. He put the team on his back, and he carried him to a comeback. Even the November matchup that they had later in the year, it was still a pretty good game.
Green Bay won that one as well, or did they split?
Yeah,
Green Bay swept them.
Yeah, Green Bay swept them. Oh no.
Chicago won. They tied it. Okay.
I read that wrong. Sorry. So it was a split. It was still a good game. Even yeah. Is this going to be very interesting to see these two teams because the Packers now they have a lot of additions.
Yeah, but on the defensive side, offensive line as well. It's just that I'm just
Aaron Jones is going to be fully healthy. He's a great piece to the Packers offense.
I just hope they let him run the ball because I felt like it was already too late by the end of almost close to the end of the season.
I mean, he was he did have to come back off injury, but You know, he's in my eyes, he's still a great running
Right
back.
back.
You know, he can still get you those good numbers. Devontae Adams had an amazing year. You know,
Yep, he did.
he had a great year. And overall, I think this Packers team definitely got better from last year. I mean, they lost a lot of names.
Jordy Nelson.
You know, well from last year.
Oh, okay.
You know, they lost a lot of defensive players. Clay Matthews, they lost Clay Matthews. They lost Clinton Dix. You know, but it's gonna be interesting with these two teams because now, you know, Chicago's have, you know, they've put themselves on the map with Matt Nagy, and you know now they're playoff contenders. You know.
Yeah, they are.
Keep in mind they lost that game because of a field goal.
Yeah.
You know,
but
they could have been they could have possibly been an NFC Championship team. At least.
And you had him last year. I think you had him last year.
Yeah,
as
I had
well
him. I had him last year as going all the way, but you know, Cody Parkey had to hit the pole for like the 10,000th time. But
this okay. Look, without his name was Vic Fangio, right?
Yeah, Vic Fangio.
Without him calling the defensive plays, I feel like Mitch Trubisky has to do something with that, with putting up more numbers. You know, as you know, passing the ball a lot more.
Yeah, the defense is not going to be as productive with Vic Fangio controlling it. So that has to mean that we're probably going to see more productivity from Trubisky, the running game. You know, Allen Robinson,
and he's coming. He's coming out from a year off of a ACL injury because I have a feeling that he wasn't productive as everybody thought he would be because you know he was still recovering from that ACL the prior to the year. And then second year Anthony Miller, he was battling injuries last year as well, and then he's coming back into the season healthy.
They still have a lot of good pieces like Burton and Cohen, the rookie running back that they also have,
David Montgomery.
This is going to be interesting to watch these two teams because, you know, the Packers, you know, they've always had, you know, a decent team. You know, last year was a very messy year for them. They were dealing with a lot of injuries.
Coach and quarterback drama between them two.
People were realizing that McCarthy and Rodgers weren't like, you know, the best
cohesive.
matchup. You know, they weren't really cohesive. So now you bring in a new head coach, you know,
and he's still not making.
It's almost like a clean slate. You know, when you have a new coach, it should be like a new mentality that you should have. You know. It worked for the Bears. You know, I don't remember who their last coach was, but they brought in Matt Nagy, and it was a complete turnaround from last season.
I'm gonna guess Mark Trestman. I could be wrong.
They turned it around.
I could be wrong.
They turned it around. You know, the Bears were one of the bottom feeders in the NFC North, and then they ended up winning the division the next year with Matt Nagy.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be very interesting with these two teams, you know, battling it out. And I think Thursday night's game is going to be a heck of a game.
Yep, 31-29, baby. No, I'm just kidding.
What do you think, Bob?
I'm just kidding.
No, I think you guys made good points. I mean, I actually feel that the Packers are going to come out of this division. I feel like I think Aaron Rodgers has something to prove.
He does, actually, yeah.
And I feel like he's going to do it. He's probably the second best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, you know, you can't say anything better than the GOAT, you know, but I think he is the second best quarterback in all of the NFL. Injuries have caused him a little bit of a bad year, yeah, but even with the injuries, man, he's a freaking soldier. I mean, he'll go out there and finish a game, you know, like he did that one. They were down 20-3.
Yeah, he had a
good
year.
Third quarter. He scored 21 points. You know, Green Bay scored 21 points behind that guy in the fourth quarter. The Bears, it's just their defense. You know, they depend on their defense. I think Mitchell Trubisky, I don't know, bro. I just feel like he's good, but not great.
Yeah, that's what I seen Vinny.
Great.
I was just telling Vinny that he needs to be more productive because.
And I think what hurts him the most is the loss of Jordan Howard. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
No, right. 2 yards a carry. Really?
But those are your numbers, though. Those are your numbers.
No, from what I've been hearing, I've never seen David Montgomery play, But from what I've been hearing, he's a very, very important asset, and he's gonna be a very important asset in the Bears' offense this year.
Yeah.
I saw Tariq Cohen last year. Wow, that guy would just, I think, surprised everybody. That guy is good, and I think he's gonna continue being good. Yeah, you're right about Miller. Anthony Miller, he did have injury, a lot of injury last season, but now I know he's healthy. I've seen him play in the preseason.
Preseason.
He's very good with his hands, really good. So I think that's going to give, I hope that gives Trubisky, because I've liked Trubisky even when he was in college. Remember I was talking to you about Mitchell Trubisky before he was drafted. I liked him, but I just, man, he made his. I mean, yeah, he took his team to the playoffs and everything, but I think it had more the defense to do that.
Yeah.
And I think the defense had a lot more to do with that. But now this is the chance for Trubisky to shine, because now the defensive coordinator's out. The defense is more united. They're more of a nucleus, so they already know what to do. So now, put the ball in the quarterback's hands and see what he can do and help out the defense by putting up some points.
Yeah, that's what he needs to. That's what he needs to do. You got all these weapons. You got David Montgomery. You even had the addition for Cordero Patterson as well. You could just basically put him anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
No score.
And well,
it's gonna be very interesting to see. It's also gonna be very interesting to see. I know it's not really a big deal per se, but Matt Nagy, this was his first job coaching last season. Having an experienced coordinator like Vic Fangio to see how he's gonna move on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're going.
Kind of like with oh my God, I forgot his name. The head coach of the Falcons. How did I forget his name?
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn. Thank you. Yeah. So Dan Quinn, when they went to the Super Bowl, they had a great offensive coordinator. Shame that he left. Kyle Shanahan leave for a head coaching job. That the following season, their offense wasn't as productive.
Yeah, didn't they get like some guy with a weird name, Tavansky, something like that?
Yeah, from Alabama, the offensive coordinator from Alabama. But their offense wasn't as productive
as the following year. The Super Bowl run.
Yeah, it's the Super Bowl run. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see too, especially since this is again Matt Nagy's first job at head coach. Having an experienced coordinator leave for another job, see how he's gonna not really adapt, but kind of take what he got from Vic Fangio and try to apply that to the defense.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna pass this to you, Dad. You wanted to talk about some fantasy stuff. You usually do fantasy football. Me, my dad, Vinny, every year, and sometimes during like the off season when the fantasy football comes around, we usually get into these little arguments about which player would be the would actually have a breakout year. So how would you want to question it, or how would you want to?
No, just basically like who do you see as far as being a big impact on the NFL this season? I mean, we got a lot of talented rookies. We just talked about David Montgomery. We talked about some additions to
Aaron Jones being healthy, coming back for a full year. Aaron Jones coming back for a full year.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to touch. I mean, just to show like which guys you think would be the Tony Pollard. He might end up being the running back for the Cowboys in the beginning of the year. Who knows? Maybe the whole year. We don't know. But I just wanted to get your take on who you think would be like a good
fantasy player.
Good, well, not necessarily fantasy. I was just wanting to see
general?
who would you be in general. Who's gonna take that first step
The breakout
in
year.
the NFL, kind of like Saquon did last year.
Okay.
I mean, in my opinion, like I said, there's many to choose from. Dave Montgomery, one of them. Josh Jacobs. He was actually drafted early.
There's a lot of
who would you say? I mean, I know you studied these rookies. Who would you think is going to make the biggest impact in the NFL?
Um,
And you don't have to go in detail.
no, I think Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs. Knowing that he's gonna get a ton of carries, workload. He said to some NFL insiders that John Gruden has some packages for Josh Jacobs in the Wildcat formation. I just heard this today that they also have he used to play quarterback in high school, so maybe he might do like John Gruden has some packages the way how Sean Payton has Taysom Hill, as the quarterback, and you see Drew Brees on the as a wideout. So they might have some packages like that with Josh Jacobs. So I mean, he's my guy. It's a tough. Yeah, it's tough for me because I also like David Montgomery. I've been hearing a lot of good things in camp. So I think those two guys actually have a shot at the Rookie of the Year candidate. But I'm going with Josh Jacobs. What about you, Vinny?
Probably one of mine, if he does get the start, Pollard. Dallas has always had a great offensive line. Also another name who I really like to see if he's gonna get the starting job is not a rookie but a player that's had a year of experience, Balaj from the Kalen Balaj from the Miami Dolphins.
Thank you.
As if he gets the starting job. I think him and Drake are going to be battling for the starting job for this because Dolphins, they're still rebuilding.
They are.
They're rebuilding.
They also didn't have a ton of carries because of Adam Gase, the way how he operates that offense.
Yeah.
And
they also had, I think they had Frank Gore back there.
Frank Gore as well, yeah.
Yeah, so they were just a three-headed monster throughout the whole entire season. And then when Drake got hurt, it gave carries to Balaj, and it gave him a few great games.
Yeah.
Late in the season, but it's gonna be very interesting to watch some of these rookies like Devin Singletary, Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun to watch.
Okay, what about you, Pop? You have a player in mind?
I mean, obviously Josh Jacobs and David Montgomery, of course, they're in the top. But I'm gonna go stretch a little bit. I'm gonna say, hoping that what you said earlier about LaShawn McCoy, get him out of there, because Devin Singletary is ready, I think, to take over.
Oh, okay.
I have him. He's got good hands. I just saw a couple of numbers on him when he was in college. Great hands, man, in the backfield, and I think he's exactly like a young LaShawn McCoy. He could run, he could catch. He's shown a lot of potential in the preseason, and then you got Frank Gore behind him, which is he's an old guy. So I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to get his runs because a certain amount of yards would get him to the third position.
Yeah,
third.
I didn't even
all-time rushing.
That.
Me neither. That was a great trivia question you had mentioned to me a couple weeks ago. But yeah, Frank Gore, I'm sure he's going to get his touches just for that, just to get him over that third place. But I'm hoping that, and I wish LaShawn McCoy good. He's a good player. I mean, he just had a bad season. Vinny, we were on him. I was on him like all year. Even in the off season, I was talking to Vincent about LaShawn McCoy sucks. LaShawn McCoy sucks, and he put me in his place just by saying, "Hey, he was hurt. That's it."
Oh, well, he did spoil Endgame.
Hurt and distracted.
He spoiled Endgame.
Yeah, but I mean, he's like, come on. I mean, he had a distraction and he was hurt. That's it. You look at the rest of his numbers, the whole career. He only had that one season like that. Which is true.
I know that is true. Yeah,
completely.
I know.
I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything anymore.
I know it was just
it
that
was
one
so
year
true.
because
Yeah.
I saw it, I was like, man, you know what? I think Le'Veon is a LaShawn, and you were like, okay, but I was like, man, but Buffalo, he's ass. And then I was just like, that's when you said, Vinny, he was just that last year, and I didn't believe you.
I
know, and we went on it.
I was like,
and we're like, oh yeah, he almost had 1,000 yards with the Bills.
So he's still there, but I mean, if Houston does the smart thing, and Buffalo actually does a smart thing, and they'll get value with LaShawn McCoy still. I mean, he's 27 years old, 28 years old. He hasn't reached 30 yet.
He looks 30.
Yeah. But if they get Jadeveon Clowney in that defense, and then give Singletary a shot because he's, like I said, he's looking great in the preseason. He's got the hands. He looks like a young LaShawn McCoy. I think that's my guy. I'm going to ride or die him. You'll see me probably draft him on Sunday. You'll probably see me draft him on Sunday. But, yeah, Devin Singletary for me.
Okay. All right. Is there anything you guys want to add before we get out of here?
Maybe some names that we have that are probably going to have breakthrough seasons, probably people that we've seen are third years, like third year players, breaking through.
I'll have Mike Williams without Tyrell. I think he'll be more productive this season. Even without, you have without Melvin Gordon playing. I mean, you still have your Eckler and Justin Jackson. But you're gonna be, people are gonna be double teaming Keelan Allen, and then that'll leave Mike Williams. You still have what was his name? Travis Benjamin. Is he still in the roster? Yeah, you still have him as the third wideout.
Hunter Henry, another player.
Hunter Henry coming back. Yeah. But I think Mike Williams will be. I think he's the perfect one as my breakout second year wide receiver. Another one probably Chris Godwin. Been hearing a lot of things about Bruce Arians revives quarterbacks that are terrible. Yeah, we saw with Carson Palmer. Yeah, he had a great year when he was with Arizona. So I'm pretty sure he'll probably make Chris Godwin and Jameis Winston great. So I'll have Chris Godwin as well.
Mine is probably going to be Sony Michel.
Sony Michel?
Yeah, I feel like, still having the same team, I feel like from what I saw last season, he had a terrific year. And
despite the injuries.
He still had a terrific year. He's very productive when it comes to yardage. Not so much scoring. He doesn't get in the end zone a lot, but, the team finds a way to work around that. And plus, I think they're going to run the ball more, with the absence of Gronk. They still have a lot of targets to throw to.
Yeah, with Demaryius Thomas and Josh Gordon.
Yeah, and with Edelman still there. White is still a target. I think he led the team in receiving at one point.
Oh yeah, I think he did lead the team still in receiving yards.
Yeah, I feel like he has the backfield all to himself pretty much because White is not used for his running. He's used for
the
his
pass
hands.
catching. Yeah, for his
he's
catching.
Probably one of the best. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go out on a stretch. I think.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah,
the best. He is the best. Pass catching running back. So he has that backfield all to himself. And I think he's probably gonna be a 1,000-yard rusher. I feel like he's probably gonna finish the year with, 8 to 9. I
wouldn't believe. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if healthy. I'm gonna say. I think Sony Michel could lead the league in rushing touchdowns. Just because how much how New England puts up the points.
Yeah.
And especially in the red zone. So it wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if healthy. If Sony Michel is healthy, I think he could lead the league in rushing touchdowns this year.
Mike Williams, that's a good one. I think, and your points were well with Williams out of there. Man, he's a tree, man. He's big. He's a big dude. So yeah, that's a good one. You already know mine. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Corey Davis, he's going to come out. No, guys, look at Corey Davis. Come on. Corey Davis is going to come out, and he's going to help Mariota make a statement. I mean, Mariota needs him this year, and I'm pretty sure they got together, and Mariota probably told him, look, dude, you got to have my back.
Last year is right here.
You realize how many targets that dude had? He had over 105, 110 targets. Corey Davis, he only caught 60 passes. That was just horrendous. I'm serious.
Oh, my goodness.
He had like 110, 115 targets, okay? But he only caught it like 60-something times. That's terrible. He's got to get better. Come on, 20 catches more. That's all I'm asking for, 20 catches more.
But you could also say, like, okay, maybe the targets that were going to Corey Davis, well, maybe it was like over or short or something like that,
I wish I could say that, but I saw some clips. They were terrible.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Right off his hand.
I don't know why I'm defending Mariota. I think he's garbage.
So last season he was targeted 112 times. He only caught the ball 65.
No, oh my God.
That's a
Oh
a,
my goodness.
It's a 58 percentage catch percentage.
Catch rate. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh my
Terrible.
goodness.
Compare him to Michael Thomas. Terrible. Thomas caught like 80-90% of his passes.
Yeah, he
I
broke
mean,
the record for the catch
yeah.
rate, I think.
Corey
Something like
Davis has to have a better. How many yards did he have, Vinny? I think he had like 900 something or 800 yards.
He's never had 1,000 yard, so
No.
that's for sure out of the
891. So 900 yards. 20 more catches, bro. That'll get him over 1,000.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I need for this guy. One of the guys that I would like to say, I don't know how many. I think he's been in the league for 3 years, but this is going to be the big one. Tevin Coleman. I love Tevin Coleman.
He has an
I love me some
opportunity.
Tevin Coleman. He's got his chance, and especially being that he's going to be with his former coach Kyle Shanahan, it works out perfect for him. It works out freaking perfect for him. So hopefully he could help out the 49ers and Garoppolo because he's looking pretty bad this preseason. But
Yeah.
But from you know what, just to get out of the subject real quick, heard something about Garoppolo. He actually, when he was asked about his 5 interceptions,
Mm-hmm.
he said that he was actually doing that on purpose. Okay, let me explain real quick if I have time.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just-
Yeah, but go ahead.
Real quick, I'll just explain real quick. And it makes so much sense, but at the same time, it's like, oh, do I believe that? He wants to throw in double coverage in the preseason because he could, because these preseason games
Don't
mean
matter.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants to see which one of his receivers he can trust to make a play.
Oh,
I know, right?
I know.
It sounds, I don't know.
Mm.
That's exactly what he said, and it got me thinking.
He's a great liar if he's lying. if he's lying, that's a great.
I mean, it makes
that's
sense.
great.
I mean,
It makes
it makes
sense.
sense
It
because
makes
look, you got
sense.
Dante Pettis, who's supposed to be the number 1 wide receiver. Okay, you got your young stud Deebo Samuel, and then you got
Kittle.
Kittle. Well,
Goodwin.
Goodwin too. Okay,
Yeah.
Goodwin. I'm pretty sure he might get cut.
He only had a bad season last year. He had a calf injury the whole entire.
I know that, but what I'm saying is that like he probably might not be in the roster. That's what I'm saying. But you still have hopes for him. You already know me. I
Yeah.
don't. But I mean, let's just say if it's in the playoffs, they're down by like 3, down by 4, and you gotta get to the field goal, to or touchdown to win the game. Of course, you're gonna have to find that one guy that you're gonna have to trust to make the big play of the game.
And is that what Garoppolo's doing?
Well, I don't know, because he could say, "Oh, he had a bad game." Everybody has bad games, Everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone
so he
has
could
bad
actually, honestly, he could say that, and he could still get away with that. Hey, look,
That's
I
true.
had a bad game. Hey.
Okay.
But why would he respond that, like that specific?
I don't think he would say. Well, he would. I feel like he's the type of player that would say if he would have a bad game, being a former Patriot, like with Belichick, or with Brady, but that's just the heck because both all of that whole receiving core of the Niners, they're still young.
Oh yeah, I
Pettis
know.
is still
yeah.
young. Bowman's still young. Goodwin's going into his third year. The guy with the most experience in that whole receiving core or tight end core is Kittle, and he's been only in the
Mhm.
league for like 4 years.
Played with already 3 quarterbacks, I think.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
4.
Garoppolo. Garoppolo played. Yeah, Garoppolo,
Hoyer,
and Mullins,
Mullins, Hoyer.
Hoyer, and C.J. Beathard.
Yep.
Oh
It's just-
my goodness.
Wow.
No, he kind of busted what DeAndre Hopkins did last season. No quarterback, and
Yeah.
obviously broke Travis Kelce's single reception yards
Yeah.
with tight ends and stuff. So,
Okay, so
Okay.
do you believe Garoppolo?
no,
I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna say no.
That's tough.
Okay, so you're saying that he stinks.
No, I mean,
Or
I
let
don't
me
know.
take that back. Sorry, 7 interceptions. It was 7.
Oh,
not
no,
5.
no. If it's 7, no, I don't believe
Come
him.
on.
If it's 5, then I'll believe him a
Why
little
can you
bit.
not believe 7?
7,
It's
no.
like-
I feel like it doesn't matter because it's preseason.
Really? We'll go play. Okay, fine. We'll go play Turkey Bowl. I'll throw 7 interceptions. Okay. Okay.
No,
No, look at
because in preseason, you're still trying to see who's the guy that you want to throw it to. I feel like that I don't feel like the Niners have anybody to really
be the number one.
You know,
Besides Kittle.
Because Kittle, is a tight end. It's the same thing with like Ertz. Ertz is the number one of that Phillies offense.
True.
He's their number one option. But you look at the receiving core of the Eagles. At least they have options to throw it to.
He's not looking for options. He specifically said the passes that he was making, he did them on purpose in double coverage because he wants to see which guy could make a play. He didn't say he was going to be the go-to guy. He said, I wanted to see what players could make a play.
But none of them can.
Well, that's the point.
Because what I'm saying is, no, I'm looking for my number one option with like Brady and Edelman, Wentz and Ertz, Mahomes and Hill or Kelsey
He's trying
or
to
something
have
like that. That's what I'm. That's
no,
what I'm.
he's not
thinking.
because he has Kittle already. He knows Kittle's the man. Kittle's the man.
Okay.
They're gonna be like another Mahomes and Kelsey.
Okay.
That's what they're gonna be. I see Garoppolo and Kittle. But at least he wants to just see if somebody else could make a play in double coverage, who he can trust to make a play.
Well, Pettis ain't right
attempts,
now.
7 interceptions, okay? Come on.
That's weird.
I say yes.
It's really weird.
I can't. I'm gonna say no.
He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth.
Yes. I
Vinny-
don't know. It's weird. It's really weird because you're putting a lot of trust. It looks bad when you throw three.
Yeah, that's what I'm
interceptions.
saying. Like when
It
you
looks
look at it,
terrible.
you're
It
just
looks-
like, God.
it looks
like,
you look at the stat line, you don't see any context. You're like, damn, what the hell happened to Garoppolo?
He also had 0 yards.
Oh my
He did have 0
goodness.
yards for the preseason. That was it. That was it. Those are his stats for the preseason.
0 yards.
0 of 7.
I think
for 7 interceptions and no touchdowns. 0 yards.
I think if you're throwing it on purpose, if you like watch the game and you see that he's throwing it into double coverage
On purpose.
and then even on purpose by accident, you still see it happen. You
Mhm.
know, because you don't just go to a play and you're just like, all right, the team's in a double coverage Pettis, so I'm gonna throw it to Pettis. You have to see how the play's gonna
Go. Mhm.
develop.
Okay, so we'll just see in the
Regular season. Who did they play the first week?
Not sure.
Do they play? They don't play the Rams. I'm pretty sure they don't play Seattle. Who was the other one in the division? Arizona.
Arizona.
Did they play Arizona?
Let's see.
Usually week ones they play their. Some of them
Week
play with their
one,
division
They
rival.
play the Buccaneers.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see against the Bucks because the Bucks they don't have a good defense.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a big. What's the over under on it? Does it show? That's going to be a lot of
points.
Over under.
That should be a
It's
lot of points.
Tampa Bay 1.
No, over
No,
under.
over under.
Oh, over under.
The
Oh, no,
points.
they don't have it.
Doesn't
Oh,
show.
wait a minute, right here they might.
Oh, 49.
Yeah, 49.
49.
Oh my!
That's a
49.
49.
Oh my
Damn.
God. Okay.
So yeah,
So
they're
it's-
expecting a lot of points.
It's probably going to be like
It's gonna
46.
probably be like 50 something by the game day, by game time.
Okay. All right. Well, that is it for today, you guys. Thank you guys for listening, and subscribe to our channel. This is our first show, and that's gonna be our like a legit podcast. And I'm excited for this project that with me and my brother and my dad to be a part of and talk to you guys about our opinions about these topics and stuff. So subscribe and comment on the section below. What do you guys think about Andrew Luck's retirement, or who do you guys think having the who's going to be winning the AFC South division?
Garoppolo throwing
Garoppolo seven
handful of,
interceptions, saying
It's 2 handfuls, and actually, it's, I believe I'm the only one who believes this guy. So please comment and let me know that I'm not crazy.
what should they do with Melvin Gordon's situation and Zeke's holdouts? And who do you guys have between the Packers and the Bears? And that's all for today. You guys can follow me, Gilbert Gonzalez Jr. on Twitter and Instagram. Don't have a Facebook, but just Twitter and Instagram. Twitter and Instagram. Agoguido12. Vinny, where can they find you?
on Instagram, Supersonics20.
That's it. Just Supersonics20.
Yep.
No underscores, no nothing.
underscores, no nothing.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
play around with that stuff.
All right, that's good for me. Enough for me.
Yep.
Dad, what about you?
I don't want to be found.
He doesn't want to be found. Okay, guys. We'll see you again next week. Next week we'll talk about the AFC NFC predictions for Week 1, and some of the matchups that we're eager to see, like Pittsburgh and New England. So we'll see. All right. Peace out, guys.
All right, later, guys.
Later.